Next up, one of my favorite horror flicks of the 80s and another underrated classic, The Changeling with George C. Scott. I fucking love this movie. This is the Second Sight limited edition release. US. I've only found the PAL version on eBay, and it's going for 70, 80 bucks. 60 to 80 bucks, I'll say. I don't know what the US version is worth. I would imagine around the same, maybe a little bit more. But I am grateful that I picked this up when it came out. It's beautiful. I know this is not that type of video, but I have to... I mean, poster, artwork, it's just the booklet. This is just gorgeous, and it is a wonderful transfer. This film really... I'd be surprised if it could look any better. The Changeling, check this movie out. There are cheaper ways to get this as far as I understand. Do those cheaper ways. Next up, this has been out of print again for a long time, but I don't think anybody gave a shit. Now people, it seems, are starting to give some sort of a shit. This is selling pretty consistently at around 30 bucks. So, and in new condition, 35, 40 maybe. So, I'd say 25, 30 this collection of 4 Hellraiser movies is going for. Not bad. I've not seen past the 3rd movie. I'm a little scared to do so because I've heard such mixed things about the series, but it's a series I have to get into, and I am kind of savoring a lot of these bigger series that I've yet to get into. So, Hellraiser, 4-pack. Alright, this one's starting to climb up in price. I do have the slipcover for this one. It is a Severin release. I love their work. Burial Ground. This is a... I almost want to say underrated zombie flick, but I wasn't crazy about it the first time. I know so many people love this movie. There are some people that I am familiar with that this is their favorite horror movie of all time. I gotta give this another whirl. I think I'll like it a little bit more on my second viewing. This one has that creepy little guy. This one has Peter Bark, that small actor guy who's really, really creepy in these genre flicks. That is one of the main reasons to see this. It's his performance is so otherworldly. It is so weird. But Burial Ground, I enjoy. This is getting up there in price, 35 to 40 bucks now. So snag it because this one's only going to keep going up. Burial Ground. This is a release I've had since it came out. I sold off my DVD years back when this came out. Picked up Extra. Again, this 1982, one of my favorite horror films of the 80s. This film is so underrated, and it's so gross and fun and ridiculous and absurd and surreal. Some of the scenes in this movie just come out of nowhere, and you're just like, what movie am I watching again? But it all works together in this sort of dreamscape nightmare. It's awesome. Check out Extra. It's got one of the most gruesome scenes, practical effects scenes that I've seen from the 80s. So check this bad boy out. This one's getting up there in price, 35, 40 bucks now. I haven't cracked the Blu-ray yet, but I am looking forward to doing so. They do have a regular version of this, non-limited edition, so you could still get that for a reasonable price. But this is starting to get up there, so one of the most absurd martial arts films I've ever seen. Martial arts horror films ever. Sam Furstenberg, a director that I admire greatly. American Ninja, things like that. He directed Ninja 3, the spiritual successor to Enter the Ninja and Revenge of Ninja. Canon Pictures, a ninja dies in the beginning of the film after cutting up like 400 golfers, and then his spirit goes into this young woman, and then she starts killing people. It's amazing. It's amazing. Ninja 3 is only fetching 15 to 20 bucks right now. It's out of print, so pick it up right now. Next up, I'm going to show all these at once. This is almost all of the Gamera films. There is Gamera the Brave. I believe that's the only one that I don't have, and it's really out of print on Blu-ray, and I'm saddened. These are out of print as well, but Arrow has announced a Gamera set that has all of Gamera's movies, so that's going to be awesome. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford that one for some time. I might try to sell these to see if I can get anywhere close to the Arrow release, because I do want the Arrow release in one nice comprehensive package, sort of like the Godzilla Showa era set. But these all together are fetching like 50 to 60 bucks from as far as I could tell. It is what it is. I wish I can get a little bit more for these so I could transfer to the Arrow. But it's 50, 60 bucks all together, so what, 20 bucks a piece, I'd say. But these are just so much fun. These are the Gamera films, man. If you don't want to watch the older ones, fine. I still recommend watching these because they're a blast, and the monsters are even more ridiculous than the Godzilla. They're more like the Power Rangers. But these 3 films are some of the best kaiju films ever made. I mean, oh my god, I will talk about these one day. These are incredible. Check them out. Another Scream Factory, Carrie, the remake, 98 remake with Angela Bettis, and The Rage, Carrie 2. 15, 20 bucks. This is out of print now. I am glad to own it. Another one I'm so happy to own. I've actually found this in the wild twice and made a good buck off of it the second time. But that is Daimajin with a nice slip cover here. These are some underrated, unknown, obscure kaiju films that deals with this ancient Japanese monument, this guardian-esque statue who comes to life. So I do consider them kaiju films, but they are a little bit different. It's a bit unique for a kaiju film. So definitely check out Daimajin if you could find them. This bad boy is going for like 40 to 60 bucks now, especially with the slipcover. So I'm grateful to own these. This is by Mill Creek. Another one that I can't believe Scream Factory put out of print. Are people not buying this? This is one of the best horror films of the 70s. And in my opinion, the best adaptation of this story. Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1978, with an incredible cast. This film is fantastic, and it's fetching around 30 bucks now, and it's out of print by Scream Factory. So, you know, it's still a good opportunity to get this one. I know there is a slipcover for it, for some of them. Check this one out, guys, if you haven't seen it. Definitely my favorite Invasion of the Body Snatchers adaptation. Love this movie. Donald Sutherland, Jeff Goldblum, so many great characters. Love this movie. Leviathan. This one's actually getting up there. 25, 30 bucks from what I was seeing. Leviathan is George Cosmatos from 87? 89. 1989. I was wrong. I suck. I suck so much. Leviathan is a fun-as-hell underwater monster movie that came out around the time of The Abyss and Deep Star 6 and like films. And this is one of the better ones. Great practical effects, great actors, everyone from Peter Weller in the lead to Daniel Stern is in this one. Just fun movie through and through. Cosmatos knew how to entertain, man. Check this one out. Next up, real quick, My Boyfriend's Back. I don't have much to say about this movie because I saw it back in the early 2000s, and I enjoyed it. It was a passively funny horror comedy, more of a comedy horror, you know, light on the horror. This is out of print now. It's Mill Creek. 15 bucks or so. It's still not crazy expensive. I think it was like 8 bucks when it came out. So, you know, for Mill Creek, I guess that's like double the price of what they usually are. But check this one out. It's a pretty fun 80s comedy horror. Galaxina and the Crater Lake Monster double feature here by Mill Creek. Again, going for around 20 bucks. It is out of print. I've seen neither of these films, and I do have to rectify that. I've heard Galaxina is glorious, so I will have to check these out soon. Another one that's out of print, but I'm pretty sure these films are able to be purchased in other formats or by other companies. I'm not exactly sure. Scream Factory put this out years ago. Halloween, the complete collection here. It does have everything from Halloween, the original from 78, to Halloween 2 in 09. So it doesn't have obviously the newest one. It's going for around 60 to 80 bucks now, which is actually still pretty reasonable considering how many films are in the collection. Pretty cool. Now, the Curse of Michael Myers doesn't have the director's cut. A lot of people think that makes a difference. I personally don't. I think all cuts of that film are pretty shit. But that is Halloween, the complete collection, Scream Factory, going for 60 to 80 bucks now. It is out of print. Another one that's been out of print for quite some time by Severin, that is Hardware. 30 to 40 bucks this one's going for, so still not crazy, but it's holding steady at around that 30 to 40 mark. So that seems to be about its worth as a physical copy of this movie. Hardware, I like Hardware. There's something about Hardware that just keeps me coming back. But I can never give it more than like a 3 out of 5. It bleeds with atmosphere in this post-apocalyptic future. I like the characters. I love the creature design. I think I'm always underwhelmed by the amount of mayhem that the creature causes. It's not quite as much as I would like. There aren't as many kills. The effects are good, what is there. And the second half of the film is just sort of, I don't know, it lets go of a lot of its ideas, its bigger ideas, and just turns into like a straight-up slasher, which I'm okay with, but it just doesn't quite deliver for me. But I do own this. I'm grateful to own this. I'm happy to. That is Hardware. Now going for 30 to 40 bucks. So Damn, bro. Next up, another somewhat surprising one to see where it was at in terms of value. That is, value, 976 Evil, a film that I've always been fond of. Ever since I saw it in my late teens, I've always had a soft spot for this one. The lighting, the atmosphere, it is 80s through and through, and I love it for that. This one is now fetching $35 to $40, which is crazy for 976 Evil. It's a solid flick, but damn, $30-$40, okay. This is Robert Englund directing, by the way, Freddy Krueger in the director's chair, and it is a fun film, 976 Evil. This one's been in the collection for some time. I've yet to crack it open, as you will see, but Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers is now out of print and going for like $30 to $40, which is crazy. I can't imagine I'm going to dislike this movie. Voices cracking like crazy today. I swear I've gone through puberty. This was released by Retro Media, a company that I have never even heard of, and it was apparently their first release. Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. Next up, we've got Candyman Farewell to the Flesh. See ya, Flesh. This one is out of print, but it's really not fetching much. $15 to $20, so not too bad. Maybe it'll go up a little bit when the new Candyman comes out, which I thought was going to be coming out soon, but pandemic, everything's crazy. Anyway, $15 to $20. Not too bad. Snag it now. The tagline, snag it now. Another one that's out of print, I'm sure this has a re-release from someone. I mean, it must. From Dusk Till Dawn, the collection. This has 1, 2, 3, and Full Tilt Boogie, the great documentary. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. I love From Dusk Till Dawn. As a genre film lover, how can you not love From Dusk Till Dawn? It has everything we want in a horror comedy. It's fantastic. Robert Rodriguez is best. And Quentin Tarantino, of course. 2, not very good. 3, bad. And then the Full Tilt Boogie documentary is excellent. So this is fetching like $20 to $30 from what I saw now. This is by Echo Bridge, so check this one out before it gets too expensive. What the hell was that? We got Dracula 2000. This is the Canadian release, but it is still out of print, so it has French and English on the back. This one's fetching a solid $30 these days. $30, $35 from what it seems. I like this movie, but then again, this is my era. So Dracula 2000 exemplifies the late 90s, early 2000s, and it is awesome. I just love this movie. It's a modern take on the Dracula story, and Gerard Butler plays the titular Dracula, and it is a fun movie. I really, really enjoy this movie, so check out Dracula 2000. Going for around $30 now, so... Next up is a great little movie, a blast, one that I didn't grow up with somehow. I missed this one at the video stores growing up, but Monster Squad. This one is out of print, I believe. Another company put this one out. Both are out of print now. I think this one is a little bit more valuable because of the special features. I could be wrong on that. But this one is going for around $25 to $30 now, so it's still affordable. Check out the Monster Squad. Wolfman's Got Nards. Another Scream Factory one. This appears to be one of the cheaper Scream Factory releases at this point. It is out of print, and it's really only going for $10 to $15. I have not seen this one. I love entomology, I love insects, but I have a thing for cockroaches. Traumatic experiences in my past. I know this film, it has millions of cockroaches. I will subject myself to this at some point. I've subjected myself to other films like Naked Lunch, things like that, so I gotta check this one out at some point. I've heard it's pretty good, so... The Nest. Another one that's been out of print for a long time. This is The Relic by Peter Hyams from 1997. This came out around the same time as Mimic, and as a 10-year-old boy, I loved both, but I preferred The Relic, and I still may prefer The Relic. I don't know, Mimic is awesome too. I love both of them. But The Relic is Peter Hyams' little monster movie from 97 with Stan Winston effects, and just a really fun monster flick that does have some problems, I will admit, like lighting. I think Peter Hyams gets inside of his own head sometimes. He lights his own shots. He's his own cinematographer, so sometimes he needs somebody to be like, hey Pete, can't see the monster at all. Can't see the monster at all. It's blackness, just blackness. We need to see the monster, Pete. Could we get a light on? No, we don't need a light on it. So that's kind of how Peter Hyams works sometimes. I love him. He's one of the greats. I love Peter Hyams' work. One of the genre greats. But that is The Relic. This one is holding steady at around 25 to 30 bucks. It has been for a long time. So, yeah, still affordable. Check this one out. This is arguably my favorite Clive Barker directed film. I know he only directed a few, but I think this might be my favorite. Lord of Illusions is such an underrated horror, crime horror film from '95. That's really what it is. It's a inner city crime horror film, not unlike Candyman and other stories that Clive Barker has conjured up. Lord of Illusions, luckily, is only fetching around 15 to 20 bucks right now, but it is out of print, so snag this one up while you can. Same thing on this one, Monkey Shines. This is I'd say George Romero's least known film, or at least one of his least known films. This is a weird f***er of a movie that I haven't seen in over a decade, but it is out of print now. It's only fetching 15 or 20 bucks though, so it's not too bad, still affordable. This is one I've been championing for some time now, Triangle. This is a really unique sci-fi slasher flick. It's really cool, great performances, great twisty, turny narrative story, and I was surprised to see that this one was fetching 25 to 30 bucks pretty consistently, so it is out of print. Gotta check this one out. I think this is streaming somewhere. It's worth a watch, honestly. It's very cool, very twisty movie, Triangle. A couple German slashers, films that not many people talk about and maybe should. Anatomy is really underrated, and it's a classic in my opinion. German slasher classic. It's got Franca Potente, follows a group of doctors, and a lot of the horror happens with these exhibits, these anatomy exhibits. And that's all I'll really say, but I've heard that 2 sort of expands on that. I've heard 2 is really good. I've yet to see it. Anatomy's fetching around 25, 30 bucks right now, so still reasonable, especially for the double feature here. It was released by Mill Creek, out of print. Get that shit, boy! This one you guys saw in a recent What's in the Bag. I did snag this when I heard news of it going out of print. This one is still at around 25 to 30 bucks, but I could see it going up in price in the future for The Dunwich Horror, which is a Lovecraftian, one of the earliest Lovecraftian film adaptations. So, good movie, great little double feature here. OOP now. And we got the Prophecy collection. It's been out of print for, again, quite some time. A lot of these Echo Bridge ones have been. Prophecy 1, 2, and 3 have walk-in, and they're all really fun films worth checking out. Fun may not be the word. They're darker. They take themselves pretty seriously, and they're produced pretty damn well. And the seriousness actually adds to the lore behind these angels and these demons. It's essentially a war is about to break out between demons and angels. The angel of death is sent to Earth to take care of business, and the angel of death is Christopher Walken. So yeah, 20 to 30 bucks this is fetching now. This has all 5 films. I've yet to see 4 and 5. I've heard they're pretty bad, but they do have an actor I like in them, in Jason Scott Lee, so I'm looking forward to checking them out at some point. I tried to mix things up as best as I could, but I did save some of the heaviest hitters for last. This my buddy got for me years back for my birthday or for Christmas or something, and I was just floored. I was in awe. This is still one of my prized possessions. Pun intended. Possession from 1981 with Sam Neill, and I can't pronounce her name. Isabelle Adjani, that's right. I could pronounce it, I couldn't remember it. Isabelle Adjani and Sam Neill. And the director's name I do need to read as well. Andrzej Kulawski. This is Possession, a super Lovecraftian story. Love this movie to death. This edition by Mondo Vision is glorious. F***ing glorious. I don't want to open it because it is beautiful. I have opened it before and have seen the movie twice now. It's fantastic. One of the most underrated horror films of all time, in my opinion, from 1981. Check this one out. This Blu-ray, though, is crazy. I mean, we're talking 70 to 90 bucks in the condition that this is now. So, very hard to find. I am eternally grateful to my buddy Anthony for buying this for me years back. Wow. Possession. Alright, this is one of the more expensive single movie Scream Factory releases that is out of print now. This is going for like 70 to 80 bucks. That is crazy. I have not seen this film or its original, the original. I've seen parts of the original, as a matter of fact. I haven't seen this one by Tobe Hooper, but holy shit, 70 to 80 bucks. Life Force is, okay, I had to sell Life Force about a year back. I had the out-of-print one, and I got a good chunk of change for it, and it helped me when I was in a hole. But I'm sad that I don't own it anymore. Tobe Hooper's films seem to be shooting up in price. He has a fan base that is rabid and wants all of his work. This is the only way to see Invaders from Mars, as far as I know, at least in the US. 70 to 80 bucks, though. Holy shit. This one, again, has been out of print forever. I can't believe this hasn't gotten a boutique label to release this movie. This is Dawn of the Dead. It's one of the best horror movies ever made. One of the most classic horror movies ever made. George Romero. Dawn of the Dead, this Anchor Bay release is still fetching 50 to 60 bucks. I know there are a few versions overseas, like an Italian version, I think, or a Japanese version, that have a bunch of the cuts. They're more comprehensive. I'd love to own those at some point. But I do own this, and I am happy to own this one for now. Maybe I could sell this to fund some of those other releases, actually. I don't know. But Dawn of the Dead still fetching 50 to 60 strong, so damn, bro. Next up, holy shit, this blew me out of the water when I was looking this up this morning. This is consistently selling for over $100. This Echo Bridge release. It doesn't even have the Japanese audio track. It is only English, which I'm okay with kaiju movies. It adds to it sometimes, although I'd prefer to listen to the film in its native language. This also comes with Monster and Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus. I doubt people are buying this up for those two movies, which I would assume are out of print on Blu-ray too. Godzilla vs. Biollante, over $100 consistently. One of the best Godzilla films. I love Godzilla vs. Biollante. Such an awesome 80s Gojira film. But goddamn is this expensive. And last but certainly not least, this collection, when I got it, I got it 5 years ago about now. Well, 3 or 4 years ago, and it was top of the line. This was the way to own these films. This was the coolest set to get for Hammer horror. Now, a lot of these boutique labels have picked up the rights to a lot of these films, and I don't blame them. They're excellent. I love Hammer. This set is becoming more and more obsolete as time goes on, but it still collects a ton of Hammer films in one beautiful 17-disc set released by Shock. Shock. It just says Shock. This here is one of my prized possessions, and I don't care if it's obsolete. I don't care if these transfers for these films are better now from the Scream Factory ones or Arrow or whoever's releasing them. It doesn't matter to me. This has so many great films, and it is out of print and very, very hard to find. I found one on eBay that sold for around $200, but there were no pictures, so that's a little weird. I would estimate this to be worth $150 to $250, but I could see that going down and probably basing out at around $100, $125 because of all these films. Maybe not all of them, but most of these films being available elsewhere. But this is still one of my prized possessions. I will never get rid of this. Honestly, guys, I will never get rid of this. I got it for such a good deal. I love the presentation here. I love this set, and it is out of print. A lot of you probably have never even seen this set, and that's why I wanted to show you here today. Wow, that was a lot of talking. I just want to thank you guys for listening to me ramble for a long time about out-of-print horror Blu-rays. Keep in mind, this is very specifically only my out-of-print horror Blu-rays. I think I got them all. I'm sure there's some in the wall that I missed, that I skipped over by accident, but this is all that I could find in terms of my out-of-print horror Blu-rays. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to know what your most expensive, rare, coolest out-of-print piece is, so feel free to leave that down in the comments below and we could get a little discussion as per usual. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos like it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell for notifications. Guys, anyway, next time I'll see ya out, Bored Cyborg.